Hi everybody, I'm Kurt from Extreme Audio. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to put in one of our plug-and-play systems in this 2022 Road Glide. Let's get started. Before we get started, we're going to want to protect the fender. So we're going to put one of these Harley-Davidson fender covers on. This will prevent any kind of scratches, dents, if anything falls on it while we're doing the install. So we'll start with that. We're going to remove the windshield by removing these 4 Phillips screws. Then you'll just set that aside for now. Next, we're going to remove the grills. I'm going to take this little pry tool and pop off the grill. That will give you access to the T25 screws behind. And do the other side as well. I'm going to take our screws out. Now that we have the screws out, we're going to take out the vent. Simply push forward a little bit and snap it off. There's 4 snaps underneath, and just set that aside. Then we'll get the bottom 2 screws, which are also T25, and then the 2 screws by the marker lights. Then we're going to unclip our blinkers. There's 1 on each side, and then that will allow us to remove the fairing. Set that aside. Okay, we're going to have to remove the headlight. To do that, there's 4 bolts we're going to need to take out. 2 down below, 2 up top. Once those are out, we'll be able to take the headlight out. Just got to pop these wires off. Once you have the 4 bolts out and the headlight, simply lift up on this tab to disconnect the headlight and then put it aside. All right, we're going to run the power wire for the amplifier. To do that, we're going to need to remove the seat. Simply unthread it in the back here and lift up a little, slide the seat back, and that will expose the battery and the bolts for the gas tanks. We can run the power wire. Okay, we're going to remove the 4 bolts. There's 2 right here and there's 2 down here. You're just going to remove this little rubber cover, and that's going to expose the bolt on each side. Now that we have the 4 bolts out of the way, we're going to loosen up this vacuum line right here. Take that off, and this plug right here, just push down on the tab, pull it out. That's going to free these 2. This will come out, and all that's left is to disconnect the fuel line, which we'll do right now. Simply slide up on this collar and pull the line out. Have a little rag handy because a little bit of gas will come out, and then your tank should be ready to be removed. Simply lift up and set the tank out of the way. We're going to run our power wire through this main channel here. So to do that, we're going to cut the zip ties. And then there is also some tape that we'll have to cut in place. We're going to open this up and then run the wire through. All right, so we'll cut the tape and peel that back. We'll undo the clips. That will expose and allow us to run the power wire through. Once we got the power wire in, we're going to put the clips back in place. Now we can put our power wire connected to the battery, and then we'll be able to put the gas tank back on. Next, we'll connect our power wires to the battery. To do that, I'm going to remove these 2 bolts right here. And take the BCM out of the way. Once you get this cover plate out of the way, it will expose the positive and the ground. Once you got those connected, we'll tuck the wires. We'll tuck the fuse holder down and the ground wire. And then we'll put the cover back on. So it's back in place. Put the BCM in. Okay, then we'll put our 2 bolts back in. We're going to run our power wire through this hole simply by lifting up on this plastic and pulling it back. That will expose a hole for us to run the power wire through. We're going to just pull that wire through. All right, now that we have our power wire ran up here, we're going to put our T-harness in place. This makes everything plug and play. So simply release the tab. Once that's in place, you have your RCA inputs and your amplifier inputs, and that's all plug and play. If you purchase one of our kits, you're going to get our amplifier and mounting plate. It's already going to come in the box together, and it's super simple to install. We're going to remove the 4 screws from the radio, and this will slide up underneath the radio. This will clip, and then there's just 2 bolts that hold it in place. We'll simply unplug everything from the radio. Once everything's unplugged, we'll take the radio out and get it out of the way. Okay, we're going to simply slide this tab over this bar here. Like so. And then there's 2 bolts that will go into the side, 1 on each side. And we'll put our radio back in. Once you got that installed back in, simply put your plugs back in place. We'll clean up all this wiring when we're done here. Now we can plug in our power wire. And And these lock in place. You want to get those tabs to click just like that. Then you will take our speaker harness, which will also plug in. And these extra ports would be if you were going to add a lid kit or lower speakers in the future. It's pre-wired, so it's all plug and play. But we'll just zip tie those up out of the way for now. And then we'll plug in our RCAs into the amplifier. I'm going to cut these tabs off, and I'm actually going to heat shrink these on in place. Okay, on our harness, they're all labeled. So you'll put in input 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. Once you have those in place, we'll put the heat shrink up, and that will secure them in place from vibrating or coming loose, and it also makes them watertight. I like to use a little torch. It's just a little cooking torch, but it works pretty effectively to shrink this down relatively quick. We'll also need to connect the remote turn on. Our plug and play harness will come with a plug that will plug right into either the sound stream or it'll plug into your stock accessory wire. Now we're going to put in the new speakers. So to do that, we're going to remove the 4 T25 screws on each speaker. And then simply pull forward. Speaker will come out. Disconnect the wire. You want to make sure that you retighten these up. So a lot of times they'll be a little bit loose, and you can simply use a needle nose pliers, or even a cutter like I have here. Then we'll be installing the SS speaker, which will come with the leads already on it. So you simply just plug them in. Like so. And then install your speaker. And we will give you new screws with our kit, and you'll just simply screw the speaker in place. Doing the same exact thing on this side. So for now, we're going to set the grills in place. We're not going to press them into place yet, but if you purchase our kit, it will come already mounted in the grill, and you're simply going to plug the wire, run the wire through, and it'll plug in behind it. But for now, we'll just set these in there until we put the fairing on. To connect the tweeter, it will simply plug in, and it will tee into your factory speaker pod. So you'll just unplug it and plug this on each side. And obviously we'll clean the wire up and everything, but that's it. It's all plug and play. All right, now we're going to put the gas tank back on and the seat, and we'll be all ready to go. All right, now we're gonna put our seat on. Simply slide it, catch the little clip up top here. All right, we just installed the Stage 2 SS system on this Road Glide. If you'd like to get one for yourself, go to extremeaudiostore.com.